During the early life of Facebook, the inventor Mark Zuckerberg said, "By giving people the power to share, we're making the world more transparent." He meant this in a positive and hopeful way, but he had no idea the negative consequences that would come with social networking. He for sure couldn't have predicted that today 92% of teens, ages 13 through 17, are online at least once a day visiting social media websites. According to the global article Exploring Positives and Negatives of Social Media and Their Effect on LGBT Youth in America, which was published in 2016 by Shelby Norton. I've done a substantial amount of research on the effect of social media on youth today, and I'm excited to share with you what I have learned. The negative impact of social media on today's youth could be improved if we begin to focus on and address the issues that come with having a constant source of personalized media. Today we will look at the issues that arise with social media, the negative impact on personal identity on youth today, and a few solutions that could help future generations. One of the main issues is how it is being used. Social media is not being used by teens in a beneficial way. Communication on social networks is not actual communication. Teenagers measure their self-worth in likes and comments, and that can reflect very poorly. They want to come across well-liked, and if they aren't getting enough likes or comments as their friends, they may feel like less of a person. Susie East says in a CNN video called Teens, This Is How Social Media Affects Your Brain, that a study was done showing an increase in the reward center every single time a like or a comment was posted on a picture of theirs. This is the same area in the brain that reacts when you see someone you love or when you win money. This can be very dangerous because an increase in the reactions in your brain in the reward center can increase your use of social media in the same way. Another article, The Effect of Social Network Sites on Adolescent Social and Academic Development, Current Theories and Controversies by June Ahn, published in 2016 by the Journal of Association for the Info of Science and Technology, shares that parents and schools worry a lot about their children's safety, and social media produces a threat. On social media sites, children put out a lot of information about where they go to school, who their friends are, what they like to do, and on some sites you can even see where you are at all times of the day. There are privacy settings that can be enabled, but there have been studies done that peers influence if you have a privacy setting set. Many people, if their friends don't have theirs set on private, they don't have theirs set on private either. Peer pressure works in more than one way when it comes to social media. The pressure social media projects onto adolescents is the most unhealthy thing about it. An increase in social media usage is linked to an increase in depression and anxiety. This is due to the fact that there is an increase in cyberbullying, and cyberbullying is extremely dangerous because cyberbullies don't get to see how they hurt the people that they are bullying, which means they don't feel remorse and they say even more hurtful things than they would in person. One community who has been greatly influenced by this is the LGBT community. Once they come out, they are easy targets for people to go at. This can be very dangerous since there has been an increase in self-harm since social media has been produced, and people who are bullied by cyberbullies are 2 to 9 times more likely to consider suicide. Another downside is that it portrays idealistic states. This mainly affects teenage girls because it idealizes and sexualizes women and sometimes men. There are pages for fitness and for health, and it portrays women and men with perfect bodies who are athletic and have special diets that just aren't realistic for all women. Being a teen is hard enough without the pressure to conform and look perfect. There are lots of negatives about social media, but there is hope for future generations. Creating a strong focus on how to treat these negative effects of social media will positively influence the mindset for future generations. During a TED Talk called How the Media Affects Youth by Oda Lindholm in 2015, she gives a few ideas on how we can help future generations. One step is to start early. We should ease our children into social media, and we should explain to them how to use it. We are some of the first generations to be completely surrounded by social media since we were young, and therefore we didn't really get any tips on how to use it, but we can give next generation's tips. We should teach them not to jump right in and not to compare themselves to others. We should also teach our youth to be analytical of what they are viewing and not naive about how perfect people's lives are. What people put on social media is not always accurate. People are not always as happy or as perfect as they may seem on social media, and we must explain to our children that people on screens are not the same people as they are in real life. These achievable solutions will help create a healthier environment for a future society. The negative effects of social media on youth is not healthy and can be fixed using these steps. We just looked at the flawed usage of social media, the unhealthy pressures projected on adolescents, and the precautions that we can take to better our society. By focusing on these issues, more solutions can be created and we can improve even further. We all want a better and more positive future for our children, so let's work together to make it happen.